there to create a barrier of separation. But this man had a faith that amazed Jesus. Well, what was so amazing about this faith? Jesus was amazed by the nature of his faith. Let me point out three things. It was rooted in a tender heart. The servants that were first sent, they told Jesus, this man deserves for you to come and help. He built our synagogue for us. He loves us. And then you stop and think the reason these servants were sent in the first place. They were sent because a servant of this man was ill. And he loved that servant so much. Put it in today's language, it was an employee. He had an employee that was ill. And he loved that employee so much, he took some other guys off the line away from work and sent them to find someone that could help. He was a man that had a tender, loving heart. The second thing about him was it was founded in humility. When the servants went seeking for Jesus' help, maybe they were a while in coming back, and now word has reached the centurion that Jesus is coming, and so he sends some friends. And the friends come with this message: don't come to my house. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy for you to come into my house. But I know that if you will, you can do what I've asked of you. There was a genuine humility in this man's heart. You know, we live in a society that prizes hardness. The harder a man is, the tougher he is. The harder a woman is, the tougher she is, then the better we think they are. We value toughness. Did you know that in science there's a scale of hardness? I forget the name of it, some Japanese name. It goes from 1 to 10. 1 is talcum powder. Not very hard, is it? 10 is a diamond. The hardest natural substance known. On that scale of hardness, a fingernail is 2.5. A window pane, depending on the type of glass, is a 5. They have synthetically produced a material that goes off the scale. It's so hard, like a 12.2. Wouldn't it be real interesting if we had a little meter and could walk up to each one of you and could place that little meter right here above your heart, and it measured the hardness of your heart? What would the measure be? Jesus was amazed at where he found this faith. He was amazed at the nature of this faith. A tender, soft heart, a man with true humility, but also he was amazed because this man possessed unique insights. He said to the Lord, you see, I'm a commander of men. I have authority and I'm under authority. It's a particularly military perspective. You know, in the military there's a chain of command, and that chain of command is necessary for the task that the military is called upon to do. And therefore the chain of command is almost inviolable. You just don't break the chain of command. It's that important. This man, being in the military, understood that. He understood authority and how it flowed. He was under authority, someone he answered to, and he had authority. There were men that were under him. And he knew that based upon his authority, he could say certain things to men and they would do it. Whatever he said to them, they would obey him. And he also knew that his superiors could say things to him and request that he do things and that he would do that. He understood being under authority, and he understood having authority. And then he referred to our Lord Jesus Christ as Lord. He said, just say the word. My servant will be healed. He understood who Jesus was and the authority Jesus had more than anyone Jesus had seen in all of Israel. And he was amazed. All Jesus had to do was say the word. I want you to note that Jesus responds to this faith. There's no indication he ever went to the centurion's home. He honored the centurion's request. He said, I'm not worthy to have you come to my home. And he honored that. There's no indication that he ever went there. But the servant was healed. And Jesus turned to those that were with him and said, I've never seen such a great faith in all of Israel. As I thought and pondered on this text, it dawned on me. We ought to be more encouraged by this story than perhaps any other story we might read in the Gospels. And here's the reason why. Because unlike most of the other figures that we find in the Gospels, the stories about Jesus, we are in a position like this Roman centurion. We have never seen him. We have never talked to him or heard his voice audibly. We have never been physically in his presence. This Roman soldier had not seen him, had not talked to him, had not heard him, had not physically been in his presence. And yet he had faith. Faith that Jesus could do anything. We're just like him. We haven't seen him. We haven't physically been in his presence. We haven't heard audibly his voice. Can we have the same kind of faith?